Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. This is Mike. I'm here with Tyrone and Hollister. Melik, he went on a fishing trip today, like the Clippers, but we'll get into that later. I just want to do a public service announcement real quick. I want to appreciate the subscribers that we do have. I really do appreciate you guys taking out subscribing to the channel. But if you guys can, it doesn't hurt you guys. It's all free. There's no charge at all. Please log into YouTube. The channel is called Sports Talk with the Fam. Go into there. You can subscribe to the channel. That way you get notified when we put up a new video, new podcast. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. Let us know if you guys want us to add more elements. I used to do the first couple of videos, I was adding like little video clips here and there. I stopped doing it because it was getting like, like copyright flags, or the video was getting held up because of the fact that YouTube was like, oh, you don't own the rights to this video. And I didn't want to deal with that. So I just left it as is. But everything counts. Likes, comments, subscriptions, all that stuff helps. Let's kind of help grow this channel together. We all love sports. We want to talk about it. And as the sports start to ramp up now during this whole COVID-19 pandemic, let's all come together and try to support one another. So I really do appreciate that. And we're going to get into it. Like I said about the Clippers, we all expected the Clippers to, make it to the Western Conference Finals and play against the Lakers. Like, it got to the point that when the Clippers lost that game, like I was talking to Tyrone in text, I just turned off the game after the second half. Like when the second half started, I just turned off the game. I started watching pool masters and stuff like that. People making pools in their backyard because it was so disgusting to me. That's to watch the way they was getting handled by Denver Nuggets. And I was like, yo, I felt even weird because I felt like I wanted the Clippers to win, and it's like I wanted them to win that game, but it felt like I was a Clippers fan as how tight I was, and it was just something that was so like despicable and so grimy. And I'm gonna get into my other thoughts about that series and like what I feel might happen now, but I just wanted to touch the base with you guys on how y'all felt about that whole situation.
Yeah, I was watching it. I saw the score. I was just like, after a while, I just went to sleep. I said they have no chance of coming back. It's like they put in no effort. They just gave up. Don't get me wrong. Denver's a great team. They're doing their thing. You got to give a lot of credit to them. Jokic,
Yeah.
Murray, Michael Porter, all those guys are doing their thing. But the Clippers, I don't know. That was very surprising. The effort they did not put in, it was shocking. I expected them to play against the Lakers as everybody else, but just got to wait and see what happens next time around.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Yeah. Listen, anybody that knows me knows when it comes to the sport of basketball, I only like one team and only care about one team. I root for certain players. I'm a fan of certain players. So I'm not devastated by this. I don't feel bad about it. I expected them to win. Things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get more into it. We could I don't know if you just want us to just come out and say, I was surprised, but we could break when we break it down. I'll talk more about it. But
All right.
yeah, we're all surprised.
All right. So, but the host being surprised, I felt like that. I mean, you have to look at it from this perspective. Like the Clippers put together on paper like a freaking almost an all-star team. You had, Harold, Lou Will, Mark, all these cats coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? And you got like, I mean, Kawhi. Everybody talking about how he like probably could be he up next. You know what I'm saying? Like they forgot about KD. You know what I mean? They think LeBron has lost a step, but they always talking about Kawhi because he just recently won the chip with the Toronto Raptors. But to me, what made me and Paul George playoff P, who was hitting like side of the backboard shots. Like I'm like, yo, you wide open. It's like they just let them hung around. I was watching the game and they were just doubling Jokic, but letting Jamal Murray go off. I'm like, yo, like you can't do that. And it's like, as much as I love Doc Rivers, you know how I am with black people, and I'm glad he got a coaching opportunity as a black coach, and I'm glad that he was part of that 2008 championship that KG won for the Celtics.
Oh Jesus.
but, but
That
at the
KG was
same time, I'm like, yo, man, it's like Doc, man, this is like the second, or like I think they said like maybe like how many times that he had like a 3-1 lead and blew it, and it's like and
like the
lost it.
Three
third
Then I
times.
showed
Three
three.
three
times with
times,
three
right? And
different
then I showed
teams.
you guys that video where Phil Jackson was talking to the Lakers and saying like, "Yo, this team is notorious to losing
Long
the
fourth
fourth
quarter
quarter,
leads.
the fourth quarter lead." And it's like, to me, there was no sense of urgency from the Clippers. The Clippers, I felt not that they were looking past them, because that's like the easiest thing to say. Oh, they were looking past Denver, maybe so, but they were playing as if the Denver Nuggets are just supposed to like fold because they're the Clippers without playing with that effort. I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know what it was, but They looked terrible out there. They was getting shots, but the shots wasn't dropping. It was just a bad look. And I know that they're not gonna blow it up per se. And I feel that they should stay together because they didn't really get to play with each other. Kawhi doing his load management. Paul George was hurt in the beginning of the season from the recovering from his shoulder injury. Pat Beverly's hurt. Harold was in there. Lou Williams went to get wings to the strip club. All these different things happen, and it's like they wasn't really firing on all cylinders. And I felt that maybe if this was like the regular season and things were going on with the regular season, they probably had a better outcome. But anyway, matchups styles make fights, and matchups, sometimes could be the end of you. And I felt that their matchup, like Harold can't guard Jokic. Jokic was going to work on him. You know what I'm saying? It's like he was a liability, and then it's like you have to pick your poison. And that 2-man game was just killing them. And the rest of the role players knew their role. Whereas on the Clippers, I don't think that everybody knows their role yet. And it's too many times, like, and I'm not excluding Kawhi, where like Paul George has choked, Lou Williams and them has choked. Harold is like his first time being in this kind of spotlight in a sense. Doc River, I can't say he choked, but it's like it's something needs to be done. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of Doc Rivers, man. But you guys can break it down. That's just what I saw. It is crazy, bro.
They was one of the few teams that was actually like had their whole roster. That's another crazy thing too.
Exactly.
I,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Doc, I don't think they're gonna get rid of him. Probably not yet. They might keep him another year to see how things go next year, maybe. But they gonna have to make some kind of adjustments. They was talking about trading some of the other guys, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Just gotta wait and see. I
But
mean,
who?
either way,
I
they don't
heard
got no
that
draft
too, but
picks. They don't got no draft picks because they traded all of them to OKC and all over the place.
yeah, it's like who are you gonna trade? I mean, like think about it. You made the investment, and Tyron, you can jump in any time. You made the investment to get Paul George, right? Who you gonna trade? You know what I mean? I think Harold's gonna be a free agent coming up. Lou Williams, I heard a rumor they was gonna think about maybe moving Lou Williams and somebody else. I forgot who they were trying to get. It was another established player that they felt would be a little bit better on the team as opposed to having like a Lou Will and them cats on it. But I don't know, bro. I really don't.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna give leeway to a couple of guys on the Clippers, and then I'm going to give you two guys who I think are the choke artists who I would criticize more than anybody. A lot of people are, getting on Kawhi and Paul George. You see all the memes and everything with
Yeah, it's
Craig and
been
Day Day, the Craig and Day Day meme. Like that was the best one I saw. But like you get all these memes, the Papa Doc, not the Papa Doc, but Eminem
Yeah, I saw
and
that one too. Yeah,
and the other guy with the braids.
Lotto. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Lotto.
But listen, okay. In the regular season, I'd be even more harder on them. In the playoff bubble, I have to say it like this. Kawhi Leonard gets a pass to me because I see this man carried that team in the Dallas series, and he carried them for the first part of the Denver series.
Yeah.
He was the only guy that was really putting in work in those series. Everybody else was struggling, and Kawhi was holding it down. So Kawhi gets a pass. He was tired. Like Kendrick Perkins, for once, I actually agree with him. He's saying Kendrick was tired. Kawhi was tired. He was carrying the whole team, and he was right about that. And I like the fact that he said that because that's something I was thinking. So I'm giving him a pass. Montrezl Harrell absolutely gets a pass. I know Jokic destroyed him, blah, blah, blah. The man's grandmother passed away. He never played what did they call those games? The seeding games. He never played a seeding game. He played, I think, game 2 of the Dallas series. I don't even think game 2. So he was never even in shape. So, and mentally, he wasn't even there. So a lot of people are making, they're getting on him all 6 man of the year and this and that. But everybody forgot that the man grandmother passed, a woman that was a very important part of his life. And he took weeks to actually mourn her death. Like he did not play. He didn't come to the bubble. He didn't practice. He didn't work out with the team through the mini training camp. So I give him a pass. I'm sorry. I know everybody gonna be like, oh well, he played. You got to think about it. He came back during the playoffs, so he never really had game shape. And that's not the Montrezl Harrell that we've seen for the past couple years. That's not the same guy I saw that at all. There was things he was missing. You could tell he wasn't in shape, and you could tell. And there was some missed and ones in the Dallas series and in this series. He wasn't the same guy. So
He
I'm
missed a
giving
lot of
Kawhi.
practice.
I'm giving Kawhi and
Montrez.
Montrez a pass. You know, um, other guys too. Zubac. I think Zubac he should have played more minutes, but he didn't. But the two guys that I want to give the disappointment to, no, it's not even Doc Rivers. Number one, of course, Pandemic P, Paul George.
Pandemic.
I mean, he had a couple of good games in the series, but come on, like you were third in MVP voting last year. You were handpicked by Kawhi Leonard to come there. You're a two-way player. You telling me you couldn't stop Jamal Murray or Gary Harris even was putting in some work in some of these games? I don't get it. And then game seven, I mean, this guy was shooting bricks. Like my man, when he hit the side of the backboard, which everybody talks about, I bust out laughing. I couldn't believe that he shot that. I couldn't believe it was a wide open shot, and he hit
Yeah,
the
that was
side of the
crazy, man.
backboard. So he's the number one choke artist to me. And number two, the other choke artist to me is not Doc Rivers, is Chicken Lou Williams, because he already set a bad standard for himself when he got into the situation where during the bubble he's out there.
In the strip
He's
club.
supposed to leave for personal reasons. Now listen, I give him a pass with the whole. I did give him a pass with the whole, chicken wings thing and his explanation. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But then as you look now, and I was wrong for giving him the benefit of the doubt because you had the quarantine, you missed a couple of days, you had to sit in quarantine, I think 10 days. So he ruined his rhythm there. And then you come and you're not playing well. You didn't play well. So you basically weren't the same player that you were in the regular season because you didn't have the reps. Montrez had a different situation. He had a personal situation. He had a heartbreaking loss. So I give him sympathy for that. When death happens in a family, I'm never going to criticize a person when they had death and mourning death in their
They said
family. Absolutely
they
not.
said,
And
they said Lou Williams had. I think it was his grandfather that passed away.
I understand. I understand
They
that.
said it was
That's
his
true.
grandfather, but they were saying it's like an OG that he knew that was a good close friend who
Well,
he who was like a grandfather.
I don't know
Okay.
because the guy's last name was Williams also, so I don't even know if the
Yeah,
guy was really related to him or not.
it
But
was some weird thing they were saying.
what it is though is I think Harold's grandmother raised she made him play basket. Like he's the reason why he's a basketball. She's the reason why he's a basketball player. So a lot. I'm not saying that his meant more than Lou Williams,
Yeah.
but I mean after you don't do that and then you go eat chicken wings in a strip
No,
club.
my thing, like to your point, Taron, I'll let you finish after this. Is just that you're absolutely right. Like with Montrezl Harrell, he came in and he was gone for a while. Like he didn't even travel with the team to the bubble because he was mourning and doing those things, like you
And
said.
that was announced
Yeah,
also that his
and
grandmother passed. You didn't know what Lou Williams left the bubble for.
exactly. So Lou Williams now, and this is what I'm talking about. It's like this is what we
Hmm.
spoke about the other day, even when we was in person, and even other day a couple of times on this podcast. It's like a lot of these players, man, they're just content if they're getting these accolades and these awards, being considered nice, and not really think about what it takes to win. So to me, I agree with you with the exemptions. Who should not be held accountable. My thing is that Lou Williams, for instance, right? He's a great player, 6 man of the year. People say he should be a starter, all this, etc., etc. And I feel that he's content with that. It's like for you to do what you did, despite what people want to say, and I know a lot of players were sticking up for him, saying like, "Yo, except you can't be doing that. You gotta. I could do whatever I want on my free time." I get it, man. A lot. These are millionaires we're talking about. I understand the bubble is not a ideal place to be in. I get all that. But like we said when we first launched this podcast, when we talked about the bubble, right? It's like, yo, there's a certain level of responsibility that goes with it. And I felt that Lou Williams probably felt, yeah, we nice enough. We gonna wash Dallas. We gonna walk through everybody. We just gotta be worried about the Lakers. I'll be ready. And then, like Tyrone said, like Lou Williams wasn't really putting in no work. Freaking Montrose, well, he was not in fully in game shape. Kawhi Leonard was dead. He didn't get no freaking DMPs and load management. He had to really play. So it's like for me, and
And
then
Beverly
Paul
was hurt.
George,
I
yeah,
give Beverly a pass too because he was hurt.
yeah, Belly was hurt, and then you gotta look at Paul George, right? Paul George, like you said, was handpicked by Kawhi. Kawhi said, "I don't want to stay with Toronto because you guys weren't don't have
I'm
enough. And
only
you're not good
I'm
enough."
only
And
coming I'm only coming to the Clippers if you get Paul George.
yeah,
Mhm.
and then he
Be-
gets Paul George, and then Paul George comes like he don't know how to play, and like Stephen A. said this the other day on First Take, and I kind of agree with him. He's gonna end up being like a Dwight Howard, where it's like you left a situation in Indiana where you was like the man. They had a decent squad around you. You wanted
It's
to,
true.
move
True.
around. Now you're gonna end up being like a journeyman because here it is. Here's your chance to be like the second guy, to be like the Pippin, if you will, on this team, right? And you're folding in under pressure. Like I get it. The first time you was first series, you was feeling a certain kind of way. You was feeling all depressed, and I get that. I'm not trying to doubt anybody's or discredit anybody's mental situation because mental illness is a big thing, and dealing with talking with people and taking care of it and being aware of it.
I
I give
got
a
a
lot of people.
response for that.
I got
I'm gonna
I
let
got a
you
lot of
finish.
respect for that. But after that, it's like, yo, you just thinking that Denver's gonna be a pushover. Like, no, you have to put in the work and you have to be willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I know how it is sometimes mentally because a lot of time, even in my game, when I play with other people, like I kind of like play reserved and like not play to my full potential because I was thinking too much. But when I played with like you and Menelik Tyrone, and we used to do like little 3-on-3 tournaments, we used to excel. Why? Because we didn't have that kind of like stress. We knew each other's games, and we just felt comfortable playing with one another. So
Mhm.
I kind of understand that a little bit, but at the same time, you're a professional, and to hit that backboard the way you did, knowing that could have been
Listen,
a momentum thing is OD. But go ahead,
I,
Tom.
I I never brought I never we never discussed this, but with the when he brought up the mental situation with him and being uncomfortable in the bubble, I
Yeah,
respected him for coming out and saying it. But my issue with him saying it is he waited until he had a good game and then brought up why he was struggling. He should have brought that up maybe. I mean, maybe even whether you brought it up at all or not, he could have brought it up in the middle of, one of his bad games or even before he started playing in the playoffs. Don't wait till you have a good game and then be like, "Oh yeah, the reason why I was struggling was because, I was mentally challenge. I was mentally disturbed with the bubble. It's not comfortable. Don't wait till you have a good game and all of a sudden, oh yeah, yeah, this was the reason why I was doing this. And then now it comes out. Now it makes it look like you have an excuse on why you struggled. And in the social media world, that's the last thing you should do is come up with excuses. And that's what pretty much a lot of these Clipper players were doing after the season was over. And then he's talking about it wasn't championship
yeah,
or bust. And he was saying a lot. He looks. That's why I put him at the top of the the most criticized people. I don't even put Doc on the list. And Doc is a coach. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. When you have that group of talent there, it's not on you. I mean, I don't think what else can he say to them to make them play better? I mean, they go out there, they're blowing multiple double figure leads. That's not a coaching problem. That's not a coaching problem. I've always been on the side of coaches when it comes to these situations. I don't like blaming coaches because I feel like the players are good enough. They're veteran. These weren't young players on this. This is not the Nuggets roster. This is a wily veteran laden team. They know that how to keep a lead and how not to. They know how to keep a lead and what not to do. You can't blame a coach for veterans blowing multiple leads. I'm sorry,
I,
Denver. If that was Denver,
mhm.
yes, but not the Clippers.
But I hear the thing about the coach, and I think this is the reason why some people try to blame Doc Rivers as a coach, is that coaching, and that's what we talked about when we talked about the Steve Nash thing. Is like coaching is more than just like a motivational speaker type of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
etc. If you look at like what Nick Nurse did when they played the Golden State Warriors last year, he made adjustments. He said, you know what, we're gonna do this old school high school play, defense. We're gonna do a boxing one against Steph Curry, so you can't go off and let the other guys beat us. Right, the same thing they did with Kemba Walker when they played the
Yeah.
Celtics in their series. So I'm saying that to say that you make adjustments, and I felt that in the essence of coaching, not that you have the talent and stuff like that, but there wasn't really much adjustments being made, especially defensively. All right, oh, we're gonna double team Jokic, then Jokic went off. Oh, we double team the first game, we double team Jamal Murray because we saw what he did. And then Jokic went off. You're like, and then you go and you double team him, and then Jamal Murray go off. He's like, to me, I felt that there could have been different things. Maybe instead of letting them play out, when you saw the lead went from like 19 to 12, call a timeout. Get the guys a break. Get them back focused. momentum away from the other team, things like that. These guys, to your point, they were fouling a lot. They wasn't really like, playing,
Yeah.
using their body and stuff like that. They was getting in foul trouble. They had to play guys more. So there's a lot of things going on. And like I said, I don't want to give them a pass because the expectations were very high for the Clippers, and the Clippers let a lot of people down. But it is this a weird circumstance with this pandemic and being in this bubble. So who knows how they're going to play next year? Right now they're the laughing stock. Maybe people making jokes. Damian Lillard on them. Everybody joking on them. Yeah, you said
Dame, Dame has every right
Yep.
to crack
sure they
jokes because
see,
Pat
and
Bev
it's
and Paul
like
George is getting at him.
that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I don't fault him at all for any of that. And I don't fault anybody for making fun of the Clippers because the Clippers, even Kawhi in the commercials, he coming in LA and he's who's the new king and all this other stuff, all these subliminals, and you ain't win nothing yet, you ain't do nothing. And now the Lakers are playing and smacking the Nuggets right that first game. And where you at? You know what I'm saying? You home.
Home.
You know what I'm saying?
Watch it.
So to me, you home watching if that. So my thing is that at the end of the day, it's on them. But if
These
y'all got
players
nothing
got
to
to
say,
step.
that
These
go ahead,
players.
Snow.
I was watching All the Smoke yesterday, season
Yeah.
2. Steven Jackson made it perfectly clear. He said, "You guys are in the bubble. You have no distractions. All you got to worry about is going out there play ball. Trying to win a championship. So these guys got
That's
to
it.
stop complaining. I understand, yeah, they not in their usual living situations, but y'all agreed to go to the bubble, so you knew what you was getting into.
Well,
Just go out there
Right.
and
well,
do.
Right.
let me defend. Remember when the protests happened, the Clippers was trying to leave with the
Yeah,
Lakers. So I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder if they checked out mentally because they were one of the teams that was trying to leave.
I think they
I
wanted
wonder if
to
they.
leave.
I
Go
think
ahead.
they checked out mentally. The Lakers didn't because look what they've done.
but
Like
look at
bait and
Jimmy Butler.
switch on
Jimmy
this
Butler,
shit.
like Jimmy Butler, like I'm here. This business trip, he gonna do what he gotta do, and he gonna go home
Listen,
after that.
let me
And
tell
that's
you
what I'm
something.
saying.
Let me
He
Jimmy
tell
had
you
Butler got a
something.
whole
mentality.
nother
Let me tell you
mentality.
something. I'm still crying
Shout
over
outs
the
to
fact
him.
that we got rid of Jimmy Butler as a
Yeah, that
Bulls
was
fan.
bad.
It
That was
still
bad.
hurts me, man.
That was
It's still,
bad.
but he couldn't get along with Fred Hoiberg, man. They
Yeah.
chose Fred Hoiberg over him, and where's Fred Hoiberg now?
He home. And
Unbelievable.
and like you said, and think about it like that. Like y'all both hit it on the head. I think a part of it was the mental checkout, right? However, I think the reason why they said it's gonna be out because the Clippers like, look, I don't want an easy ride. They felt that, look, I want to beat the Lakers so we can prove. So they're like, the Lakers leaving, we leaving. You get what I'm saying? So I felt that they were saying it like that because they didn't want to be like, oh, asterisk because they didn't go through the Lakers. So that's why they said it was gonna be out. And partially the guys did kind of mentally checked out, but I'm like this, man. Like to Steven Jackson's point, and we mentioned Jimmy Butler is like, look, man, people like Jimmy Butler, they understand this is more. They have a desire to win. What makes certain players great
That's who
is
should have.
that
That should have.
desire to win. And honestly speaking, man, the way Miami's looking, man, I
Yep.
wouldn't be surprised Miami win the whole joint. Like Jimmy Butler said, I wouldn't be surprised at all because the way that team has been playing, they're
Yep.
galvanizing around each other. They're playing with a purpose and a mission. You got Spoelstra coaching his butt off. A lot of people might still want to give truly credit to Pat Riley, but still you have a lot of strong guys in that organization, and it feels that they're going to do something. And that's why, to me, and this is a perfect segue to the Celtics joint, is that when they had that rumor where, you know, Marcus Smart was barking on like Jalen Brown and, Kemba and all them other cats like that because they got mad at him for shooting the three. I don't blame him. If you watch the body language of these teams, a lot of these guys is going through the motion, bro. Like they're not making no effort on defense. And it's frustrating when you're a player like a Marcus Smart or like a Jimmy Butler, even though Jimmy Butler don't have that situation in Miami, but a guy who want to do everything to win and your
Mhm.
team is not putting forth that effort. Right. And then you get mad at me for taking an open shot because you want to be the man and make the shot. So it's a lot of little things like that. And to me, the Celtics, I think they'll get a game because they've been winning both games. But when they had the stats, man, when Spoelstra's up 2-0 on the team, man, he don't lose. So the
And
Celtics
Miami.
look like they
Whew.
about to get washed. And then Miami going to be waiting for the winner of the Lakers and the Nuggets. And we'll see what
There
happens. You know what I
ain't
mean?
no winner of the Lakers and Nuggets. It's the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the Lakers gonna finish them in 5. I think Denver get one game.
That's a sweep.
Yeah.
That's a sweep. That's a
See the
sweep.
White
Just like
see the White Howard trying to act like he tough guy now, trying to do something for once in his career.
Yeah. I mean, look, see, but that's another thing. See, Dwight Howard, he realized his role. You know what I'm saying? He went from being that athletic freak in Orlando that had a perfect team around him. He
To be
made
that
it to the
cheerleader.
finals. He got watched by Kobe. and he never been the same. And to me, he was just feeling himself. He was another guy who was just like, oh, I'm so good. And I get it, man. To get to that point, like we said this, you have to have some level of like, you know, arrogance. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that. But it comes to a point now where you have to really look yourself in the mirror and like, you know what? I still gotta work. And that's why despite the GOAT stuff and everything like that, and I don't really like that part, I do really respect LeBron because LeBron puts forth the effort. You look at videos of him before the game, he's doing full on workouts. You know what I mean? Off season, full on workouts. He comes to the game ready, comes to the game prepared. Even though he could be a prima donna at times with certain things, and like, always want to try to control the narrative for the most part. When it comes to him, looking at the goal, his goal is his legacy. His legacy is like, I want to be the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? He's still chasing Jordan's shadow. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
Chasing
at
a lot
least
of
he's doing
shadows in
that.
my mind.
You know what I'm saying? So to that, and that's my point. You know what I mean? So I look at it from that perspective. Like, look, man, these guys, they don't really want to win. I don't think the Clippers. Kawhi wanted it, but Kawhi's body like felt like his update patch, his software was running low on that cyborg body. It was like it was down.
Yeah,
Like
yo,
his
listen,
battery's
man.
at like 65%,
Yo,
56%.
he
You
tried,
know what I'm
man. He
saying? He
tried.
tried his ball. He
He
tried. You know what I'm
tried,
saying?
man.
But
Ran out of
it's
gas
hard
in
to
game
like.
seven.
Yeah, it's hard to guard one of the best players, then still score. Your team ain't scoring. Then you got to be the one kind of doing everything. It's tough, man, and I feel bad for him.
They
And
ready to get out that bubble. They all tired of being there with 3 months,
yeah, but I
4
mean,
months
yeah,
already.
well, go ahead, yeah, but now you look like a clown. You got washed. You can't. You had a
Yeah,
team come back 3-1 and beat you.
in the
That's
second round.
ridiculous in the second round. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, to me, it is what it is. But
Hey,
the NBA is the NBA. We could talk about Giannis getting MVP. Giannis, congratulations to him. A lot of people felt that he shouldn't have gotten it, especially based on his performance in the playoffs, getting bumps first round, right? They got bumped first round or second round.
second.
Second.
So they got bumped second round, and it's like, yeah, second round. And then people say, he should, they felt a certain kind of way, and LeBron was pissed off that he felt that he should have had it or had a chance. He was mad that he only got like 16 something votes or
He
something.
got
I
he got a
forget.
lot of mouth now that the Clippers are out. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. So I can understand that. And I'm pretty sure even when Jordan played, like even Charles Barkley said the other night, like there was years that
Listen,
Michael Jordan should have won the joint the whole time. But the
Mike should have
criteria,
had Mike should have had about 7 or 8 MVPs. But
yeah, but
all
the
right.
criteria changes all the time. So I understand the
Mm-hmm.
frustration, but at the end of the day, your objective, you can get MVP, is nice to put on your banner and your shows, and especially when you compete with great ones, you want to have those kind of numbers. But championships is what really ingrains you in the minds of people. There's a lot of MVPs now that didn't do nothing, like Steve Nash. No disrespect, he's the Nets coach, but what has he done? Has he ever made it to our finals? Has he ever even won a chip? No. You know what I mean? Look at Russell Westbrook. He won an MVP. Where is he now? You know what I'm saying? He fighting with fans and stuff like that, and people's brothers in the stands. You know what I'm saying? James Harden. You know what I mean? Like, these are the people who winning the MVPs, but what else do they have? You get what I'm saying? So, and I'm not taking that away. It is a special award, but it's like at the end of the day, it's about these chips. And if your goal as a Los Angeles Laker is to win the chip, especially in this circumstance, because come next year, is a lot of things gonna be different. That
Brooklyn.
last Brooklyn gonna be there.
Oh
Golden State
God.
gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a
Well,
lot
that's
of
true.
teams that you guys didn't have to see because they wasn't healthy. So it's like all these people are biting and chomping at the bit. You know what I'm saying? Utah might get better. The Lakers might not have that kind of like, run to the title. So this is their chance.
Hell,
So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Listen,
Tano, you say
man.
you want to break down the LeBron thing?
Yeah, you can let Hollis to go if you want, but
I'm good.
everybody was crying about LeBron getting 16 votes, including LeBron. But I gotta give people a little history lesson. Last time I checked, the most valuable player award was the regular season award, right? Am I
Mm-hmm.
right, guys? Okay.
Yep.
Last time I checked, regular season went into February, March, right?
Yep.
Up until that day, Giannis was the clear cut most valuable player. Everybody, including Stephen A., everybody was saying Giannis was the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They had the best record in the league. They were dominating everybody. And then the pandemic happens and there's a 4-month layoff. Now, LeBron James Lakers was the first seed. He was coasting. He was putting up good numbers, leading the league in assists. And the pandemic happens. But before that, people, I tell this to everybody that I would talk to about sports when they brought up the MVP conversation, especially at work. They Everybody was all Giannis, 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 and then LeBron plays against Giannis the second time because Giannis beat him in the first game. People forget that one. I know it's what you have done lately. He beats Giannis's team in the first in the last time they played him in LA, and people's like, "Oh, he beat the MVP. This could help his chances." And then they played a game against the Clippers and they beat Kawhi and the Clippers. So a lot of it is those two games started having people back in the conversation with LeBron as the MVP. I understand, he beat Kawhi's rival, and then he beat the guy that's the front runner for the MVP. But I'm not going to judge you on those two games when Giannis averages a double-double as well as LeBron, but 30 points a game, 13 rebounds, lead his team in every statistical category. And let's not forget, he doesn't have another top 5 player playing next to him. No disrespect to Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe, but they're not Anthony Davis. Them combined aren't Anthony Davis.
Nah, I mean that's disrespect. Let's give him that. I'm not even.
No,
I agree with you. No. I'm not even playing you.
no.
I'm just trying to say I watched them play. Chris Middleton stepped up. Eric Bledsoe. I mean, no disrespect.
they're
You in the
not-
NBA, but bro, like, come on, son.
they're
Yeah, I
not
feel
Anthony
bad for him.
Davis.
Like, it's like almost like how KG was, bro.
They're not Anthony Davis. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, right. Well, we'll get into that one day. The Anthony Davis is better than them. I'm sorry. Like
100%.
what was LeBron doing last year for the Lakers before Anthony Davis got there? So everybody's jumping, well, LeBron got robbed. And another thing, the award, the voting was based on the pre-seeding games. So they basically voted from November to March or October to March. Everybody seems to forget that. Everybody started to, they don't announce the they don't announce the MVP until midway through the playoffs. So you might see a guy, dominating like LeBron, his team's dominating, they looking good. So everybody's like, yeah, he the MVP. But forgetting that the MVP is based on the whole season. And everybody's like, oh, they should make it, the voting should go in through the playoffs. No, that's why they have a finals MVP. Like a lot of people, it's almost like everybody's trying to give a reason why he should win the MVP. Like, stop it. You can't change something that's been going on for 60 years for one player. They only do this when it's LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anybody doing this for Kevin Durant when he was winning with the Warriors. Nobody said, "Oh, why didn't he win the MVP the other year that they went?" And I think Harden got it, and then when Giannis got it last year, nobody said Kevin Durant should get the MVP. So why, when LeBron James is the one, everybody says, "Oh, well, they shouldn't do this. They should have the voting after the regular season." Come on, stop it. So the rookie of the year could go after the playoffs too. I mean, because most of the rookie of the years don't even make the playoffs. So is that fair to them? Defensive player of the year too.
No,
So I
agree with you 100%.
I don't get it. And then he's mad. He's talking about he's pissed off because
He's pissed off.
he only got 16 votes, bro. He was the runaway winner before the pandemic happened. Everybody expected him to win. The voting was based on that, not based on the seeding games and the fact that got out in the second round and you're in the Western Conference Finals. Because that's what everybody it's because Giannis went home early. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, that's the whole argument. Yep.
That's the
why they
whole
should give
argument. Because everybody's caught in the moment.
That's why they should give it out before the playoffs start.
I think so. I agree with that.
Yeah,
too.
I agree.
That too. But they want to make it they want to make this whole presentation, and now they got this whole show that I've never even watched.
I know.
I watched
any
it
of
the
that.
first year, and I saw how
stupid.
dry the players are with the comedians when they're making jokes, and I was like, you know what, these players, if the players nowadays, they don't have sense, they're too sensitive and they got no sense of humor. So whatever. I don't even watch those award shows no more. Just tell me who won the award.
Yeah, but the player at home, raise the trophy in front of the fans.
That was the best way. That was the old school way they used to do it.
That's how it should be done.
That was the best way. Or unless your team got eliminated, you had a press conference. Or you had, that whole award stuff is a joke to me. But that
Yeah.
was my personal take on the whole thing. I think everybody's just caught up in the fact that Giannis is out of the playoffs, LeBron's still in, so that's
Yeah.
why you know
I
he
agree with you. I mean,
was
and real
mad.
quick, it's like I don't like the fact that a lot of people start to like discredit the people who vote, but it's just like this is not like judges in a fight where they can cost somebody millions of dollars as far as like work. Now, don't get me wrong. I know some people have incentives in their contract that they get MVPs and certain things like that. They get money. I know Anthony Davis lost some bread 1 year for not getting a certain thing.
Klay Thompson was.
Yeah, and Clay Thompson and Clay Thompson, but I don't remember Anthony Davis had one too, like a clause in his contract. But be that as it may, the issue that I have with the LeBron thing, I understand he might feel slighted because he feels that he does a lot for his team. But like we look at it, like you said, you could pull LeBron off the Lakers, and the Lakers could still be a decent team because they have
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis. You take Giannis off of that Milwaukee Bucks team,
It's a lottery
and
team.
they're gonna be it's a lot. You really have to give credit. Your point is from the season stats, not what have you done for me lately. And a lot of times these narratives, it's just like a popularity contest where it's like, all right, LeBron's the most popular guy in the NBA. Everybody loves LeBron. Let's give it to LeBron. Where some people are like, no, like I look at what Giannis is doing. I like Giannis. And it's like you have to understand you're not always going to get the like as many times I know Michael Jordan probably felt he should have won it over Karl Malone, should have won it over Charles Barkley, but he didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? He got it when he got it. But Michael Jordan was more concerned about winning them chips. So that is the major thing. And like you said, that's why they have separate awards for when you're in the playoffs. So stop crying, go get your finals MVP and call it a day. But I want to move quickly into the last weekend. You know, NFL started last week. We talked about it briefly with the whole booing thing with the Kansas City Chiefs game. But I just want to give a shout out to, and I hate this. I want to give a shout out to the Patriots for winning only because Cam Newton's on the team. I'm happy that he did well and they won that first game. A lot of people started to discredit that game because all of the Dolphins and etc. But yo, they won, and I want to give a shout out to him. I hate to say it, but you know I'm kind of happy that the Buccaneers lost and the Panthers lost. You know what I mean? My Giants lost. That was upsetting, but you know they got some things to work on. But I'm excited for football this season because you guys know I took a hiatus after the Kaepernick joint, and now that they're doing these quote unquote little gestures here and there, they still one of the most despicable leagues. But I do respect the players, and I understand it's not really the players per se, but I'm happy for them, and I'm gonna start watching it again, and I'm looking forward to the games tomorrow. And I just wanted to put that out there real quick. Y'all can say y'all piece on the games. I know y'all follow it a little bit more than I do.
Yeah, go
I'm just
49ers,
happy
man.
it's
We
back. I've
trying.
been waiting to see football for the longest. Yeah, I'm glad the football's back. Glad my team, Washington football team, got a new staff, new head coach. You know, new good players, Chase Young,
Excuse,
all those guys. You know,
Your name?
we on the
repeat that
rise.
name
We on the
again.
rise. We ain't there yet.
Repeat the name of the team again.
WFT.
What up? Yeah. You know, it's funny.
Washington
It's funny
football.
you said that because, like, you know, like one of my friends, his name is Aubrey. Aubrey Fitness is his thing. He's a Redskins fan too, and he posted a picture that he had like 9 years ago with his son wearing a Redskins shirt, and he said, "Yeah, that was them." And he put in the caption, "A future Redskin player." And I was like, "Wait, hold up, son. You mean future Washington football teamer?" Call him that. Like, don't call him no Redskins. And another coworker of mine, Tyron, you met him one time. You speaking to him about baseball when you came through to my job when I was playing ball, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I don't like the fact you put your son in that offensive shirt with that offensive name. You know, and your team name has changed. You know, they're just giving him the business." But I got a little good clutch win against the Eagles. That was
Clutch.
good. We lost against the Steelers, man.
Don't worry. That's probably going to be one of Washington's only wins. Maybe one or two more. They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
My
okay.
Niners will take care of the Jets. We're banged up. We got a lot of injuries right now, but we got enough to beat the Jets, and then we'll beat the Giants next week. We'll be fine.
Let's take it easy with the Giants stuff. But I
No,
know
the Giants aren't good. They're not good. So
now
yeah,
the Giants. You know what the problem with the Giants is? Besides, like a lot of
no,
people talk about the whole line and
Everything.
stuff like that. Nah,
yeah, no, they're not good.
but I would say this. I noticed that I was looking at they got this new shows with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, some other
Yeah.
guy. It was talking about like Saquon, like somebody was saying like with Bart and then was talking about like how Saquon he got to be more physical, like he kind of be like more like a soft kind of like two-hand touch flag football type of player where he like to like not really run through the traffic and like get the contact. He want to be like breaking people down like Reggie Bush used to do and like kind of crack people like Barry, where even Barry Sanders himself went in there and sometimes had to truck people. And it's like, yo, you got to do that. You can't have like that kind of skill set and that body type, and this kind of like, going away from it. I know football players are a different breed when it comes to like physicality and what they feel is toughness and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you only had like, I forgot like 6 yards and how many carries he had. And I was like, it was bad.
Lose his era.
And
That
I
was
mean,
his era.
yeah,
Pittsburgh defense is pretty good, man.
yeah, but I mean, even so, like there was a couple of mistakes that the Giants made on themselves that kind of cost them the game. That if they didn't make those mistakes, they might have won the game. But I know they playing the Bears tomorrow. The Bears got a good defense, but Mitchell Trubisky, he ain't gonna be going over like he did last
Trash.
year. So hopefully they watch him. It's funny because I've been playing the Madden demo, and I played that lineup destroyed them with Saquon and like freaking Clayton and all them cats like that with Danny Dimes. But I'm just nice like that, and it is a video game. But at the same time, Giants got to really come out there and do their thing. But we can't. I know they're not expected to win any Super Bowl stuff now, but they got to really do something. And New York teams have been struggling for a long time, except from Brooklyn and the Yankees. But they really got to step their game up. So we can watch them and then watch the 49ers next week and be back to 2-1. Feel me?
Sure. They're not good. Sorry, they're not good, man.
All right.
But
But real quick, we can touch on this real quick because seeing that it is UFC fights tonight, we're just gonna just talk about the 3 fights. I want to talk about we can talk about there's 2 fights. No, I want to talk about 3. I want to talk about the welterweight version of Khabib and how they booked him, to fight this guy today, and then they have him like a month and a half later to fight again. Like he ain't gonna probably get hurt. So the guy's kind of pissed off that they did that. Like trying to say like, oh, you think he'll walk through me? Then the Cowboy Cerrone, and then the main event, which is Tyron Woodley versus Kobe Covington. And I just wanted to just give like a quick, rundown of what we feel like those fights going to turn out. I know you guys not really MMA guys, but y'all could just give your opinions based on what you heard.
well, it's just me.
And
I've
then
been falling off, but I'm looking up now.
yeah, so it's just you really, and then that's real quick, and then we can wrap it from there.
So so we're talking about you said Cerrone and
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name. Like, and I can't really pronounce it. It's Shevev versus like Let me see. I'm trying to find the card.
you're talking about Covington and Woodley, Cerrone and Price, and Shimanev and
Yeah,
Messer. I'm picking. I've seen the Shimanev fight. He's gonna win pretty easy tonight. I've seen him fight. He's strong. He's a pretty good guy. So I think he's gonna come out. He's a big favorite. So I think he's gonna come out on top. Cerrone, has he fought since that McGregor fight, or is this his first fight? Has
this
he
is
fought?
first fight McGregor joint.
Okay, so he's pretty fresh because McGregor beat him in less
36
than a
seconds.
minute. Yeah, so I think he's pretty fresh. Uh, I'm gonna see. I know him by name because of the McGregor fight, so I really don't know who's gonna win that one with him and Price. I never saw the Kid Price fight before, so I don't really
Price
know.
is a kind of like a wild fighter. He's not bad, and he knocked out a guy off his back, which is very hard to do. So a
Mhm.
lot of people give him a lot of credit for that. But he is like one of the guys where he's up and coming. He's still a little, rough around the edges, but he's pretty decent. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, but a betting man. Last time I
Mhm.
saw Cerrone, he lost in 36 seconds, like you said. So, and you're telling me good things about this Kid Price, even though it's a little while. So I'll go with Price in this one. I can't tell you by what, but I'm gonna go with Price on this one. And then Covington and Woodley. I've seen Woodley fight, but the Kid Covington, he looks like he's a strong competitor. So betting man, I see the bet he's betting favor. So I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon and pick Covington to beat Woodley. And those are my picks.
Okay.
Shimonov, I think that's how you say his name. Cerrone, Price I'll pick, and Covington.
All right. Howsa.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. The between the Jimenez or whatever it is, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm gonna pick him as well. Cause I'm looking at the fight card now. I'm gonna go with Jimenez or
Yeah.
for the second fight was the Cerrone and Price. I'm gonna give it to Cerrone only for experience. More he got more experience than Price.
Yeah.
Only for that reason. And the main event between who was it again? Woodley and Covington.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna go with Covington. I'm gonna go with Covington. Yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna pick Covington for the main event.
Okay. All
I've
right.
been falling off a little bit lately.
Nah, man, it's all good. I mean, look, man, no disrespect to Covington. I mean, like he's a good fighter. I just don't can't stand him with the whole being like borderline racist, just trying to he's just like I'll get to him when I get to that part. But like the Kazmat Shivanev, I think the UFC they banking on him because he sounds like Khabib. He fights style like similar to Khabib,
He looked like him.
and he's very game like him. He just loves to fight. So because of that, the UFC decided to book him back to back, which is like a slap in the face. Imagine you're a fighter, you get the call to fight this cat, and then you hear that the UFC already planned to put this guy to fight like next week almost. Like what I mean, even though it's not next week, but like he's supposed to fight in October, but they pushed it back to like November. And it's like, yo, you just pretty much think this cat gonna come in here and wash me and get out of here unscathed. Like he's not gonna have any like problems. Now the Gerald guy, he has some losses, but he is a submission guy. He's been having like a lot of submissions in that division. So people looking at him, oh, you can't just count me out. But and he is on a mission to like, yo, I'm gonna try to really hurt this cat to spoil their plan and let them know that you can't disrespect me. That's why Dana White had to come out in the press conference yesterday. It's like, no disrespect. We're just saying that we want to get him in there and blah 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 yada yada yada. We do that a lot. So I'm gonna go with the Shemamev cat as well. However, if the Gerald cat win, I'll be happy for him because he was able to throw a monkey wrench in their plan, and that's good for him. So I'm indifferent on that one, but I'll go with the Shimanev. As far as the Donald Cerrone joint, Cerrone, he's a weird fighter. He's been fighting a long time. He's a game fighter. Sometimes when he's mad at a person, he come out guns blazing. Sometimes if you're too nice to him, he feel like he I don't want to hurt you. He even said that he still get the jitters sometimes when fighting, and you always feel like that's like it takes a while to get started until he start really getting hit, and then like kind of like I'm in a fight, and I feel that, and this is like his last fight. So if he loses, I think the UFC is going to kind of push for him to retire, or they might cut him. So he has to come out there and win. I think they do a layup, but giving him Nico Price. No disrespect to Nico, he's a good fighter. He is kind of like an up and coming guy. And Donald Cerrone's at a stage in his career where it's like he's a name. So if you beat him, you kind of get elevated to that next level in a sense, like getting to that next level in a video game. So, and if he doesn't, it is a decent enough opponent for Donald Cerrone to really go in there and handle because he doesn't really grapple as like that. And Donald Cerrone is a stand-up fighter. Also, they were saying that Donald Cerrone for the past like few camps and a lot of times he was never doing sparring. He would just go in there, do some training, do his little wakeboarding stuff and his like eventual thrill seeking stuff, and then go out and try to fight. So now this camp he was so like determined that he did a lot of sparring, so his timing should be sharp. So a lot of people feel that he should win this fight. So I will go with Cerrone. As far as the Covington and Tom Willie, I'm going with Tom Willie because he's black, obviously, and also people be sleeping on Tyron, man. It's like I understand we've seen him get washed by Usman to lose the belt, and we see him lose to Gilbert Burns. But when he lost to Usman, he was doing too much. This happens to a lot of fighters. They get to the promised land. It's like now what? I got the belt. What is the next challenge? And John Jones, I think, was suffering from that a little bit too, which is why he's more excited now to do heavyweight. He's working out really hard. He's getting bigger to be a heavyweight because it gives him some excitement to why I want to wake up and fight. Like once you lose that edge or that urge to fight, you know what I mean? You feel kind of way. Like even when Mike at the time for the baseball thing, he even said he was getting bored. It's like, all right, where's the challenge? I want something different. And I felt that with Tyron Woodley, he was rapping. He had a rap album around that time. He was doing movies, so he didn't really take Usman seriously, and Usman watched him. Now, in regards to the Gilbert Burns joint, he was supposed to fight Leon Edwards. Pandemic happened, fight get canceled. Then they try to figure out another person. then he was training for that person. Fight gets canceled. So now you training in training camp, you cutting weight, you're trying to maintain your weight to peak at a certain level, a certain time. What happened? You know what I mean? He was in a training camp since March or before March, all the way until like May or June, whenever he fought Gilbert Burns and he got handled. So I kind of give him a pass on that. But this is like a fight he has to win because the right now, if he loses to Covington, it's like losing to that guy who talks the most trash, and you know he'll never let you live it down and always in your face. He has no choice but to win. I don't think Kobe will knock him out. I don't think Kobe will do anything like that, but just I don't even think Kobe will hit him. I think Tom is too strong, and he's just as skilled as wrestling. Just so if it goes to decision, and he just on him, Kobe likes to do, and Kobe can inch it out through like, but somebody going to sleep Kobe because Tyron get them paws on him. It's over. I hope Tyron come out like how he did when he fought Darren Till and caught Darren Till and destroyed him within 2 rounds. He needs to do that to Kobe Covington. And like this is the first time in a long time we haven't heard Kobe Covington talking no trash. Now, Kobe Covington used to be a training partner that Tyron used to fly out to train with, and he been in that space with Tyron, and Tyron watching him in the gym and doing whatever. So he knows that yes, people evolve and people change, but sometimes you don't lose those memories of like that combat and facing that individual, right? And I feel that Kobe Covington, being the type of guy he was when he talked trash to Usman and he talked trash to all the other guys, he ain't say a peep to when it comes to Tyron Woodley. And he's just a guy who's just like a troll. Like when he first came out, it was Kobe Chaos Covington, and he was so like cringeworthy watching and trying to like do this WWE type of thing to propel his name so he could get better fights and become a name. He went full heel, and now he's doing the whole Trump thing, wearing the cheap suits and talking disrespectful and being mad, grimy, and racist to the point that he got kicked out of his gym he used to fight in, was the American Top Team, and now he has to another rival gym. And I heard that they changed up his whole fighting stance. It's a lot that I heard. It could be all bait and switch stuff too, but I'm going with Tyron. I'm hoping that he wins. You know what I mean? That's the only fight that I'm looking at that I care who the victor is. So I'm hoping that Tyron Woodley comes out and watch. Everybody I talked to so far, including you guys, have all said that they feel that Tyron's going to lose based on his other performances, and nobody's giving him a chance. And I'm going to go with him and to see how much of an underdog he is. Because, I'm trying to figure out this whole betting thing and minus this and then plus this. Like, I'm trying to figure that stuff out. But
Yeah,
seeing
I
he's
learned
that way,
it's
crazy.
pretty.
So,
Yeah, it's a pretty big. He's a pretty big favorite, Covington.
so yeah.
It-
So, and don't get me wrong. Covington is not no slouch. I mean, he could fight. You know what I'm saying? He's good. He's just a clown. So, but I don't think he can handle Woodley. I think Woodley is highly motivated, especially what's going on with the whole Black Lives Matter stuff, and especially what Kobe Covington kind of stands for in regards to like just being like a freaking troll and being so disrespectful and not really like careful and selfish. That I think Tyron. He fighting him like, yo, I can't lose, and I feel if he's kind of he's going to be awake for this fight. As the other guys, I don't think he was fully invested in the time fighting those guys. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going Woodley, Cerrone, and Shimenez. But if Cerrone loses, all right. And if the other guy wins, all right. So that's it. I mean, for me, unless you guys got anything else y'all want to talk about, we can wrap it and then take it from there.
I'm just waiting. I'm ready for next week's fight. My boy Israel fight next week. I'm looking forward
That's
to
gonna
that.
be crazy.
I'm
Now
looking for
that
this game. I'm looking forward to this game tonight, and I gotta put,
8:30
I gotta put the UFC fight on the iPad.
Miami.
I gotta
they
put the
play tonight?
UFC on the.
Miami.
Yeah, man, that's game
Yeah,
3 is
8:30,
tonight.
I think.
Oh man, I'm,
So
I'm way off.
I gotta put the fight on the iPad and watch the game on TV,
Yep.
Yeah,
and try to keep an eye on both things. The fight should still be going on by the time the game's over. So
yeah. You should be.
the games will be done and the fights will be going on. So I'll probably catch those last 3 fights when the game's over.
Yeah, so yeah, you'll catch those. But yeah, man, I want to thank you guys again. Y'all got something else to say? My fault. I don't want to close out. Y'all got something else to say?
Yeah, real quick. Make sure y'all go vote.
Yes.
Go vote. All this energy y'all putting on social media, complaining, this, that, and third. Get y'all asses up on November 3rd and go out there and vote.
Yeah. Facts. And like also the second that is like, look, voting is important, but it's not just the presidential.
Exactly.
All politicians, it's
Congress, all of them.
all of them. But the only thing I got to say is that all you LeBron fans, everybody just relax.
But
You guys
Yeah.
relax.
yeah,
I'm going off of the whole yesterday I was on Bleacher Report. I'm not a social media guy, so I was on Bleacher Report reading some comments and people complaining about the MVP thing. Just relax, guys. Relax, man. You don't know this man personally. Everybody they're going crazy. Hey, just relax, man. You don't have to take things personal and make things personal with people. I've seen messages where they're just disrespecting people's families. I'm like,
yeah.
relax, guys.
It's real crazy because I just lost connection. I was speaking, and I don't know what was said or not. But I'm just gonna I second what they were saying, and I'm just gonna say this real quick. When Hollister said about voting, it's like, look, man, you got to go out there and vote for your local offices. You got to go out there and vote for your city councilmen, for your senators, and everything like that. Like I said, Supreme Court Justice Ruby, I forgot her last name. May she rest in peace. She passed, and she was like a progressive woman. She had to come against a lot of odds, and she was just a human being who understood what it is. And right now, Mitch McConnell and the rest of them crosses are trying to just fill her seat. The lady that even dead, they just want to get her stuff out and fill her seat as soon as possible because they don't look at it as human beings. They look at us as like who's going to win in chips and pawns. So what they're trying to do is get that seat filled with another Republican or a conservative, so that way they can slide their stuff in there a lot better because now there'll be more conservatives on the seat, on the bench, as opposed to liberals or Democrats and stuff like that on the bench that will look at things from a different perspective. They try to play Obama when he was a president. They didn't want him to. He was still a president. He had enough time to hire and appoint, excuse me, a Supreme Court justice, and they was like, no, you can't do it. It's up for the upcoming president. And now we have an election year, and they not, we don't even know if what's his face going to be the president come November. You know what I mean? But they still trying to just squeeze that in there and let his administration do it. So there's a lot of tomfoolery going on, and it's like you guys have to be aware, and you guys have to understand voting is very important. Don't take it lightly. I know we don't have the greatest of choices right now, and I know Tom made the joke the last time. Oh, we got a choice, but I'm just saying in general.
No, that I ain't joking.
Right? But
I ain't joking.
no, I mean like
anything but Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll say it right here live.
That's what I'm trying to say. But my point is this, right? Be that as it may, right? We have to know that, at the end of the day, if our vote didn't count or matter, there wouldn't be voter suppression. There wouldn't be the fact that they're trying to they were taking away mailboxes and making it hard for the USPS to deliver the mail so they can count the mail-in ballots because they was hoping that the pandemic will keep us in and their elites and their friends will go out and vote for their people. And now that they see that there's a big uproar and uptick in the communities that they say, no, we can't take this anymore. We got to go out there and vote. They're going to make it extremely difficult. Now, we live in New York. New York is a more of like a melting pot, so we ain't going to have that issue. But people who live down south, people who live Midwest and all these other places where those racist elites are trying to do what they're going to do, you got to still stay the course. And if it didn't matter, they wouldn't try to take it away. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have an amendment where every 50 something years or 25 something years, we have to get it amended for people of color to be able to vote. It's ridiculous. We are Americans. We serve this country just like everybody else, and we deserve our fair share of the pie, and we all do. You know what I mean? This is not a race thing. Where it is a race thing, but it's mainly it's like a smoke and mirrors. It is a race thing. They use the race as emotional tactics, but this is a rich versus poor. And when the other poors realize that, look, black people are not your enemy, it's these rich people who are not trying to give you your stuff, and then we all come together, that's when we will actually really start to institute some change. But I don't want to get too political with it. But like Hollister said, go out there and vote and make your vote heard and count. We can't have people in the office who don't care about us as a people, don't care about us as a nation, and will sell us down the river for the next big bag of money he can get. So let's do the right thing and let's do what we got to do. So with that being said, unless you guys got something else to say.
You pretty much closed it out.
I saw something on social media not too long ago. LeBron's son out there smoking weed on Instagram and stuff like that.
I don't care. I don't care. I hear enough about LeBron James.
Look, man, I'm pretty sure them cats be doing it.
They ain't gonna bring that up.
I don't care.
They're gonna try to be funny, man. Look, man.
I mean, it's weed. I don't care.
Look, man.
If it was somebody else, son, they would.
It's not snorting cocaine now.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's bad. The president. when Obama's daughter, they got
I'm
caught her
kidding me
smoking weed
personally,
one
but
time when she
They're
went
not
to
their
a
kids,
concert.
man. They're
But they
kids.
kids
This
are gonna do those different things. Like me, I never got into that. I never did any weed or any drugs at all growing up. And I had
mm-hmm.
people who try to, do it. Well, we have our parents and certain moral standards we didn't want to be bothered. But at the end of the day, like you said, Hollister, is like, look, man, now that weed is becoming such a commercialized thing, I just walked past when I was doing my walk today. I just walked past the dispensary that's in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like it's becoming now as a cliche
Oh yeah.
fad. They vilified weed because it's a lot of different things with race. Like they was getting upset. They felt that the weed were making white women go with black people. That was one of the ignorant
Oh my
stereotypes.
god.
Also with weed, it's a plant, so it's hard to regulate a plant. Like I can get weed
Mm-hmm.
buds, and if I had the proper, you know, grow technique, I can grow weed in my backyard. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to
Right.
go to the store and buy. I could grow my own weed. I could grow enough if I had enough of land to sell it to somebody. It was the fact that they didn't know how to tax it and get money. But when they realized, you know what, we're not going to make it illegal. We're going to make it like, something that people can use.
Make money off it.
Now we can make money off it
Mm-hmm.
and get taxes. The same thing, like you look at some countries where they got over the drug problem in their countries. I think somewhere like in the European in Europe where they made every drug legal, and they have all the like facilities where you can come to a facility like a urgent care. You want to do your lines of coke? Go ahead, do your lines of coke. We got hospital people monitoring you. You want to shoot up your heroin? Here's your dose of the heroin. You go sit down in a booth, you do your heroin, and you go out. And they had really stopped all the drug problems in their nation by just doing that. So there's a lot of weird little things that go on. I'm not into no drugs, and I'm not saying that's something that people should be about, but I'm just trying to say it's all a ploy, it's all part of the game to kind of like, put us in the jails disproportionately to our white
Mm-hmm.
counterparts, do the same thing and give us like the major time, so then we'll have all these bad raps to give us even a worse step and worse, position in the race for like, equality and race for like social justice and this race in general just for a way to live. But it is what it is. And like I want to thank you guys again for coming through, Tyrone and Hollister. I want to thank you guys who are listening for listening. I want to thank you guys again for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Please do so, as we mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. And let's try to help grow this channel together. Let's try to do the right thing. Let's be nice to one another. This world, 2020 has been a year that really shocked us as a civilization, and the whole world, not just America, the whole world is affected by this. And I think that we need to really look at what's important and try to do the right thing and put, I don't want to make it into like a biblical thing, but put God first in your life and like, and just focus on that, because these signs is what's going on is in the Bible. And it's also showing, look, something's going on with this planet that we need to really address before it's too late. But anyway, you guys have a
Stay
good one.
safe.
Enjoy and God bless.
All right.